Alright, I'm gonna go over an old one here, which is Karl from Sling Blade. And some of you may or may not know it's an old movie from the 90s, so bear with me. Don't know who it is, good movie, Sling Blade, watch it. Alright. Well, I reckon you want to know what I'm doing in here. I reckon the reason I'm in here is 'cause I killed somebody. But I reckon what you's wanting to know is how come me to kill somebody. Well, I reckon I'll start at the front and tell you. Uh, I lived most of my life out behind my mother and father's house in a little old shed my daddy built for me. They didn't do too much want me in the house with the rest of them. I mostly just sat around there in my shed all the time, or looking at the ground. But it didn't have no floor, but I had me a hole dug out to lay it down in, and a quilt or toad that I put in there. My daddy was a hard-working man most of his life. Not that I say the same for myself. I mostly sat around the shed and tinkered around the lawnmower or two and went off to school, and from time to time, but the children there made quite a bit of sport of me, made fun of me quite a bit. Some of them roughed me up sometimes, so I mostly stayed out back there in the shed. My daddy worked down at such a small mill there, down there at the planer mill for the old man named Dixon. Old man Dixon was a very cruel feller. He didn't treat his employees very well. Didn't pay him much of a wage. Didn't pay my daddy much of a wage. Just barely enough to get by on. But I reckon he got by all right. They come out, one or the other of them, usually my mother, and fed me pretty regularly. At least I know he made enough for me to have mustard and biscuits 3 or 4 times a week. Old man Dixon had a boy named Jesse Dixon. Jesse was really more cool than his daddy. He made quite a bit of sport of me and taking advantage of little girls around the neighborhood quite a bit. He used to say my mother was a very pretty woman. He said it quite a bit from time to time when I was at the schoolhouse. Well, I reckon you want me to get on and tell you what happened, so I reckon I tell you. I was sitting out in the shed one evening, not doing too much, just kind of staring at the wall and waiting for mother to come home and give me my Bible lesson. I heard a commotion up in the house. So I got up and run up to the screened-in porch there to see what's going on. I looked in the kitchen window and see my mother laying there on the floor without any clothes on. And Jesse Dixon laying on her, having his way with her. Well, I seen red. I picked up a Kaiser blade that was laying there by the screen door. Some folks call it a sling blade. I call it a Kaiser blade. It's just a long handle like an axe with a long blade on it that's shaped kind of like a banana, sharp on the edge and dull on the other side. It's what the highway boys use to cut down the weeds and whatnot. I went into the kitchen there. I hit Jesse Dixon upside the head with it and knocked him off my mother. I reckon that didn't quite satisfy me, so I hit him in the neck with the sharp edge and just plumb near cut his head off. Killed him. Well, my mother, she jumped up from there and started yelling, "What did you kill Jesse for? What did you kill Jesse for?" Well, coming to find out, my mother didn't really mind what Jesse was doing to her. I reckon that made me madder than what Jesse made me. I taken the Kaiser blade, some folks call it a sling blade. I call it a Kaiser blade, and I hit my mother up the head with it and killed her. Some folks asked me if I had it to do over again, would I do the same thing? I don't know. I reckon I would. Anyhow, they seem fit to put me in here, and here I've been for a great long while. I've learned to read some. Took me 4 years to read the Bible. I reckon I understand a good deal of it. It wasn't what I expected in a lot of places. I've slept in a good bed for a great long while. They've seen fit to put me out now. They tell me they're setting me free today. Anyhow, I reckon that's all you need to know. If you want any more details, I reckon I can tell them to you. I don't know if there's enough for your newspaper or not. Alright. I skipped a few, well, I didn't skip a few parts. I messed up on a few parts, but it's quite a bit to read. Especially when you're trying to scroll and keep up. But, if you like it,
like the video, share it, subscribe. Help me out. You know, can't get out there without good friends. You want to be my friend? Ooh. Alright. So long, YouTube.